What is the craziest rumor you have ever heard about yourself? Sophomore year in high school, someone said I got hit by a car and died. I went on Facebook and saw RIP and such. Even people I didn't know said RIP, and for the rest of high school I was known as the boy who died and came back to life. I can just hear it in the hallways. That's fucking Jesus, boy. Heard a rumor that I, a guy, caught diabetes from my best friend, a girl, after we made out. 6th graders are fucking retarded. That I was dead. I was taken out of public school for my 8th grade year and thrown in Christian school. I came back to my old public school my senior year so I could dual enroll in college. The first day back, I got all sorts of weird looks. Then one girl saw me, stopped dead in her tracks, screamed, dropped her shit and ran away. Apparently the rumor was that I didn't come back to school in 8th grade because I killed myself, and apparently she was one of the ones to blame. It actually took me a couple days to remember who she was, and that she actually had been pretty horrible to me, but by then she knew the truth too, and my opportunity to chase her yelling booga 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 had passed. I work at a secondary school. When I got another job for the holidays, there was a rumor going around the school that I was leaving to fight the Undertaker. I didn't stop that rumor at all. 10th grade, rumor was that I had slept with every guy on the football team of the high school from the next town over. Never mind that the high school didn't even have a football team, this rumor still spread like wildfire. Ass hats. A guy I later became good friends with thought it'd be funny to start a rumor that I was hung like a dinosaur. Specifically a dinosaur. As a socially awkward guy, I found it both hilarious and terrifying when he several times brought it up to girls. Especially whenever dances came around. He'd stand just within my earshot and say to some girl, "Hey, you should go out with him. I heard he has a huge dick, like a fucking dinosaur." There was a rumor that I was a stripper. Caught so much when I wound up being investigated by my superior officer. I'm a guy. In college everyone thought I was dead. I stopped hanging out with a group of douchebags and no one bothered to call me. About a year later I was at the store and this girl came up and said, "I thought you died?" Turns out it just became a circulating topic that since I wasn't at any of their parties I had died. No one bothered to fact check it or attend my funeral. Glad those fuckboys are not my friends anymore. I was labeled a massive stoner in high school. My eyes were always red, and I was constantly sleeping in class. Really, it was allergies. That I was pregnant. I just got fat. That I sacrificed a goat in the school's basement. A rumor about me was once spread that I could fit 60 pencils in my mouth. I have no idea where this came from. People constantly asked me to show them, even a teacher once. Some girl started a rumor that I threw an orgy in the basement of my house after junior prom. You can't just throw an orgy. Send out invitations, like a birthday party. You're invited to come. I heard in high school that my family reused paper towels. Specifically that we would put them in the washing machine after using them and use them again. I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease 2 years ago. Apparently somebody misunderstood or something and started telling everyone I had cancer. Yeah, not quite the same thing. In college I got mono. My first semester. One of the symptoms no one tells you about is that it can make you throw up a lot. Especially upon waking. I lost a bunch of weight, threw up every morning, and when I got a blood test for leukemia and other things, the technician stabbed me wrong. I had a big bruise. My roommate told everyone I was a pregnant heroin addict. Apparently, whilst on a week holiday, my ex-girlfriend thought the greatest idea to get back at me was to spread the rumor that I had killed myself. But why? What drove a happy-go-lucky dude such as myself to ending my time on this mortal coil? Ah, yes, my whole life had been plagued by the fact that I had to live for 4 years with the intolerable pain of knowing my girlfriend perished in 9/11. Just to clarify, I was 11 during 9/11. Apparently that's old enough to fall in love and declare this fictional character as the love of your life. Also forgot to mention I'm from Plymouth, a small city in England. Meaning, according to her, the plane that changed the world as we know it, departed from an airport that can probably hold about 50 people. Well, there was a crazy rumor about me in high school that I had sex in a porta potty. Nearly everyone believed it to be true. I don't know how it started, but after a while I just accepted it and started to believe it myself. One of my friends in high school had a similar rumor spread about him, except that it was a blowjob in their fucking porta potty. He convinced us it was 100% rumor until someone shared pictures of the incident. They were too drunk to even close the door. Someone started one that I was going to shoot up the school. Those next few weeks were hell with the administration and whatnot. And no, I don't walk around in trench coats and act all sulky. I think someone was making a joke and it turned bad. Who knows? When I was younger, I had to take about 3 weeks off school for pneumonia. During my time off, one of my classmates found my hat in the road and immediately assumed that I had been hit by a bus and died. When I went back into school, I was greeted by the same classmate running up to me in the corridor and shouting the bus missed. Which was followed by the rest of the class turning around, realizing I had survived the bus and giving me a group hug. Was quite nice, really. In high school, a friend thought it would be funny if he told everyone I had a huge dick. He told everyone he saw it in the locker room and it looked at least 10 to 12 inches flaccid. Unfortunately, this is not true. My John Thomas is woefully average size. The rumor spread fast and soon enough other kids were vouching that I had a disproportionate dongle. I didn't really know what to do about this rumor. On one hand, the main advantage to having a big dick is telling people, but on the other, I couldn't let anyone see it and see the disappointing truth. Because I didn't squash the rumor immediately, I decided I had to commit and go with it. One girl took a particular interest in my appendage. She wanted to have her try at my dick. She was constantly hitting on me. One day she lured me to her house, and before I dropped off and revealed my 5.5-inch trouser snake, I said rather loudly, "I have an average penis," and left. That I stole a pool noodle from a surplus store and went to jail. I was outside and a girl from my school walked by and said, "You're still here," and she proceeded to tell the story of how another girl told her I was in jail. Probably when I invited the guy I was dating to a good friend's party. A lot of mutual friends would be there, and I thought it would be a good time to sort of out the fact that we had something going on. Halfway through the night it gets cold and I decide bikini was not the best option. It was a pool party, so I decide to go into the garage bathroom and change. About 30 seconds in, bikini bottoms off. My buddy bursts in, bathroom door doesn't lock, and I say, "Get the fuck out, bud." I'm naked. Not even a minute later, the guy I'm shacking up with busts in. "Did you guys just have sex?" Buddy and I both laugh it off and I say, "Seriously guys, leave, I'm trying to change, dude, I'm banging." Ignored me for 3 days after. Finally responds and says, "I walked in on you and him fucking, don't give me that shit." Had to get my buddy to call him and tell him what actually happened. Still convinced that within the 30 seconds it took him to see Buddy walk in the bathroom and follow him, I managed to get it in. Needless to say, I'm out of that situation. This is one of those odd circular rumors, where it's spread and then perpetuated and then exaggerated and then perpetuated until it got a bit out of hand. I hooked up with a number of engineering students during Frosh Week in my freshman year. Without fail, they would each be incredibly wasted and end up leaving clothing items, usually belts and hats, in my dorm room the next day, never to return. Turns out 2 of the guys knew each other, about their shared exploits with me, and both mentioned that they lost their belt in my room. Their conversation, labeling me a trophy belt stealer, got back to my floor and, as a joke, my floor mates urged me to hang these belts from my wall, to start some grand slut bulletin board of my exploits. The next 2 guys I hooked up with each thought it was funny and gave me their belts to hang as well. I went along with it since it was funny, and they were nice belts. About a month later, I was in the dining hall and the table beside me was talking about the ravenous belt-stealing whore from X floor of X hall who blows guys so hard that they fall into a stupor of ecstasy and then she steals their belts for her collection. The story was so elaborate, I couldn't help but laugh. It also suggested that I was good in bed, so I didn't mind. The next guy I hooked up with had heard the story and was convinced that he could avoid my sexy spell and was holding onto his belt for dear life, often repeating that he won't fall for my tricks. I thought it was so hilarious that I actually wanted to trick him out of his belt, and I did, when he went to the bathroom. This soon began to be a thing. 50% of the time, guys wanted to make the wall, the other 50% they would try to be the exception. But all belts made the wall. I began to hear even more rumors after a while, this time naming my name, and they got so crazy and elaborate, often suggesting that I would up the naughtiness the more they refused to give me the belt. According to the rumors, I had a lot of anal sex and threesomes. Anyhow, it all ended when about 6 of the guys got together and decided to break into my dorm room to retrieve their belts as a hilarious prank. It worked. My floor mates helped them, and they photographed their covert mission, which became a bit of a viral thing on campus. All in good fun. I still have some of the belts.